we go.
Invincible.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Professors. As you can see, I have Kaz Cross with me this evening. How are you doing today?
Doing great, doing great. I'm actually really excited to share some Henry stuff because I've been playing the character a little bit, and he's definitely like one of the Kaz-esque characters. I'll go into like what different players might enjoy, but it's definitely one of the characters more up my alley in terms of the characters I've taught on a Professor. So I'm really excited to share.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited for this one too, personally. I haven't been excited for a new character in a long time, so finally having a character I can kind of have some fun with has been really exciting. So, I mean, what do you want to tell us about Henry before we get into the more detailed stuff?
Yeah, so Henry is a mage, right? But I think he he kind of plays like a Hedgen Tazia kind of mage, right? Where
Mhm.
we were discussing this before the stream. He has a lot of agency, right? I think that's one of the things that will be pretty enjoyable for people picking up the character is I think he is a lot in control of how a team fight goes. And sometimes on other mages, not that they're weak, but a lot of the dictation, especially in like solo queue environments, can be let on like uncoordinated plays, right? And like relying on your teammates to make things happen. I think Henry has the ability to make things happen. And I think that's really fun for people who want to play a carry character that has the ability to kind of control and dictate the flow of a fight.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get on into it here. Well, you've done this before. You kind of know the whole run of the show here. Talk about it a bit about your builds, and we'll go through each tab here. And yeah, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so I'll start off with what I was testing initially. So we have two builds for you. So this is the build that I was personally playing because when I was playing a lot of Henry, I noticed that he had a lot of strength in his initiation combo of, and I'll go over the abilities in just a second for y'all. But when you combo your chronograph and your time jump, you create a route and then you can go into your ultimate, and that's a lot of CC. And so having, and it's also in a pretty big AoE. So starting out, we just have like basic anti-heal setup. You're gonna see it's a two zoner. I try to make sure that Most routes nowadays are two zoners. This one just has a little call in. You gotta call in a bandage. Uh, for tactical skills, you can either go flash or totem. Those are the ones I've been seeing most Henry players and what I've tested. I could, if you really, really want to dip into utility, maybe protocol violation. I think that might be a little more on the experimental side. Definitely stick to totem or blink. I think these are the strongest in terms of tactical skills for Henry. I think totem is much stronger in certain lobbies, and we can discuss that a little later. But I think in general, Blink is just a good go-to. For
Mhm.
augments, the on this build, we'll talk about the other build in a second, or maybe I'll run you through it. But if you're going for full damage setup, I think usually Ghost Light is going to be your preferred. If you are trying to be an initiator for your team, I think it's either Amplification Drone or Diamond Shard. And I think probably some of you have experimented with both of those. I think those are personally the strongest. I did not see or do a lot of testing with Vamp when I was doing the numbers, or sorry, Vampiric. I thought that it played a little outside of what I think Henry's trying to do, but I think there are maybe lobbies and times and team compositions that Vampiric could be also a good option. For late game items, this is where it's gonna deviate from maybe what you've seen a little bit. I think Blood Cloak is pretty popular right now, but instead of a percentage amp headpiece like Persona, I've been really valuing Dragon's Fury because Henry actually has a pretty fast application of pulverization. So if you do a Q, then you W and E, and then when you Q back in, you'll actually have all 5 stacks because you stack once with your Q, you stack another time with your W, then your W E procs, giving you another Dragon's Fury proc, and then also your passive procs pulverization. And then that next Q will also give you. So you'll have full pulve combo, and then you can do the full pulve combo into your ultimate, and they'll be fully shredded. And you can also potentially do that in area of effect, which is why it's so high value. And then Nightmare Nails for anti-heal and Glacial Shoes. So this build gives you a lot more cooldown reduction to make plays. I'll talk about if we have enough time, maybe I'll go over the full amp build. That's the one you've probably been seeing a lot more of. But basically, I can actually just tell you the deviation would be instead of Dragon's Fury, you'd go Persona, and then instead of Nightmare Nails and Glacial Shoes, you'd go Legs of Steel, and you'd go Tindolus Monarch. So you get a decent amount of CDR. I think it's about the same. I think a little less, maybe. I think you get about like 20, 28, 30. This one gives you
Mhm.
50 haste or 50 cooldown reduction and 33%. And then for skill leveling, just focus on maxing your passive, then your Q, then your W, then your E, and then putting a point in your R whenever you can.
Cool. Do you want to run through the other one quick too, since we have time? We can go over all the abilities once we get actually into practice tool as well,
Absolutely.
because yeah, it'll be easier to do at that time.
So just like I was mentioning, it's basically very similar. We also I'll run by the blood. One difference you're gonna see in the other build that I was running, the M drone, is I was running the Frost Venom Dart. We'll go into interactions in a little bit, but there is actually a reason, and it's not just because the slow is valuable. It actually also amplifies Henry's Q. Here I'm running Death Rune because the synergy with Primordial Hex and Debilitation on top of Ghostlight, which is the augment I have you guys on for this build is just a little too strong. Even though I think there's a lot of value from the Lich's Grasp from Frost Venom Dart, I think in this situation you do benefit a lot from the Hex. And then this is one of the few characters I actually think Rose Steps is pretty insane on. And I think you agree with me on this one, Lucy. You've been doing a bit of the testing yourself. I think it's really strong though, in
Mhm.
Henry.
For sure.
That
Well, yeah, go keep going.
yeah, sorry. I was wondering if you're so and if you want to upgrade your VF Shuriken, I actually think it's pretty acceptable to sit on it. I do think you might get a little more benefit from not actually doing the hex upgrade because unlike the only wind and fire wheels gives you cooldown reduction on your base gold transitions, but the base Black Lotus Shuriken does have cooldown reduction in its kit. And sometimes, depending on the lobby, that can be more beneficial. Use your intuition, you'll as you get a better feel for the character, you can decide which lobbies are like, I need the hex, I need a little more extra damage, or I think actually being able to rotate my W, rotate my Q a little more, and then have access to my E to fish for plays might be a little better. And then I think Nova Shield is really good, and Bikini is incredibly strong. I think in general because Henry likes to go in, having that safety from the tranquility can be really beneficial.
For sure. Anything else you wanted to add on before you get into practice tool?
Not really. Uh, I think a lot of the I feel like Henry doesn't deviate too much from the typical mage build. I think if you really want to get experimental, I think you can maybe some Ghost Bride enjoyers or something like that. But I feel like maybe then you need to consider why you're picking Henry, unless you just really love the character. He is quite cool, so I get it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like personally, I was experimenting with high CDR, so yeah, I get it. But yeah, we will get into the training mode. Yeah, so I was just saying, like sometimes when like the stuff moves and like they added new stuff, I still sometimes click the wrong thing and I get a little bit of a jump scare and I go into custom and I'm like, wait, I was like, where's my thing right away? I have to click another
Time
button.
in motion again.
Yeah. One the other thing there's one the other thing I really wanted to bring attention to is I think also CDR is a little undervalued, I think, from what I've seen. I was peeping on what people have played in norms. Be I think a lot of people are reading time jump, and we'll go over the abilities just now for you. Because there's cooldown reduction in both the W and E, I think people are undervaluing CDR. Certain CDR breakpoints makes your W come up a lot faster, and that facilitates a lot of playmaking potential. So before I go over like ability combos, I just wanted to quickly run through his kit. So with his passive, when you deal, you read it here, 35%, you will attach a timer that will explode after a certain duration. It's 2 seconds, and then it will do damage scaling with lost HP. So if you do a big burst combo, which is really what you're looking for on Henry most often, he is more of a burst mage, then you're gonna do more damage with your passive. So it's almost, I'm trying to think if there's a direct comparison, but you could think about it as like a cumulative proc, right? Because the way it scales with lost damage or lost HP, the more damage you're doing, the more damage your passive is going to do as well. It's not like
Mhm.
current HP or max HP, so where it's irrelevant how much damage you did before. The damage you do actually does matter quite a bit for the passive proc. Starting with his Q, and we're gonna go over the interactions with it. He first throws the minute hand, right? And that will do just basic amp scaling. His ratios are quite good, by the way. I want people to just keep that in mind in case you do decide to go a percent amp item. And then the second Q does a little more damage, but both the or I believe actually only the second Q. The second, no, actually, I'm pretty sure it's both. They both do increased damage when a target is, it says immobilized here. That is a little misleading, actually. It is actually also applying to slows. So when I had on the amp drone build the frost venom dart, that's why. So if you, for example, have it in your build, so having slows in your kit as well with your W, you can actually end up doing a little more damage. We'll go over the W next. So the W, you place a little field that will slow enemies, and it does damage ticks the damage tick is every 0.5 seconds. So every half a second, you're going to do a flat damage amount, and then a bit of the target's percent HP. So if they stand on it, especially melee characters, they're gonna take a lot of damage over time as they're gonna be stacking more health. And then the E is, wait, actually, before I mention that, sorry, one more aspect of the W. The character has a lot going on. The W also refreshes itself as it ticks on either characters or Wickeline, Alpha, or Omega, any boss monster. So it'll be about 5%. And then for the E is a channel into a blink, and you'll blink to the location. So if you blink on top of a W, you will let me refresh the cooldown. Oops. If you blink on top of the W, you'll do a root, and you'll do a little bit of extra damage, and that's its own proc of damage. So for stacking damage or reapplying certain item effects, that will be a unique instance. This also refreshes the cooldowns of your Q and your W by 40% and 20% respectively, which is why I was going into CDR CDR thresholds rather. And then for your R, it's quite strong. So I'm just gonna cast it not on a target real quick to explain what's going on. So you stop moving, you're immune to CC, you get a shield, and then you do an instant, the initial instance, which also stuns, and then the pop. While that's going on, while you're in this animation, projectiles are slowed around you. And then at the end of the animation, it will completely
All right, welcome back. Sorry about the technical thing that just happened there. That was a little awkward. So we're gonna have to like jump back a bit and actually review some of the stuff that we're going through. I think we left off in the middle of the abilities because it got a little goofy. Um
Yeah.
so yeah, if you could just do me a favor and go back into the practice tool, I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. I'm
Discord
sorry for the
decided to
viewers.
just like yeah, no, right. Discord decided that, we just didn't want to learn about Henry today. So yeah, we're gonna go back in. I do remember we talked about the interactions with the W and the E. Oh, we're talking about the middle of the ulti. That's what we're doing. That's what it like the
Okay,
Discord
perfect,
decided
perfect.
to die.
Yeah, so I was I wasn't I was yeah I don't have a second monitor, so sometimes I might not be able to see. So sorry, I was yapping the whole time about different combos and stuff, but we can go over that real quick again. So where I left off was probably about the ultimate and its two functions to it basically. So you have let's
Yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
the abilities back up for you. Sorry about that, y'all. So your R is basically your R has two functions, right? So it initially is a stun and then a burst. And then there's also defensive utility where it slows projectiles. So you're going to often be using this more as an engage tool than a reactive tool. If you land that reaction though, like if you do a gate, you might have heard it mentioned on Lumiapedia where you can like block the Bola from Bernice, the Bernice ultimate. That's insane value if you're going ult for ult and you're hitting somebody with it. I don't recommend trying to block a projectile unless you are also getting value out of your ultimate though. I don't think it's worth just trading ults because the ult is incredibly strong because it does a lot of AoE, as you notice, and it's also an AoE stun, right? So if we just go, right, there, and it really depends on if you're being like pretty unpredictable with your Ws, but there are opportunities where you can just I promise that oh, oh
Oh, wait, I think we're good.
yeah.
Sorry, I think it went out again.
So I will
Continue.
just quickly repeat. Yeah, it's it is really important not to focus on your ultimate's projectile just to trade abilities. Definitely use it for what its best potential is, which is just playmaking and setting up your team or setting up yourself for a huge burst combo with like
Mhm.
WER. The things I was going over when we had a bit of technical difficulties is oh sorry. Yeah, the thing I was going over was certain CDR thresholds. So around 30%, if you can get to 30% CDR, you will basically have your Q up after you do your burst combo. And so that means you can follow up immediately with another Q. So I'd say like a good way of reaching that threshold is if you really get a high investment, right? And you still want to do percentage amp. That's why I had a different build for you guys for the amp drone, because when you want to focus on CDR and rotations, your build might look a little different. But you can get it with something like this. Let's see. This should get you to the threshold. Yeah. A little above actually, I think. But so a build like this is a little different. You're not getting access to debilitation, which is a little unfortunate. So maybe instead of the Inquisitor, you can go, if you want to still have debilitation, you go Wind and Fire Wheels. You're just going to lose access to the Lich's Grasp. There's always like give and takes with your certain build itemizations and optimizations. But you're going to have to like consider that. But if you see, I'm going to Q, W, E, R, and oh wait,
I was about to mention it, but you caught it.
yeah, yeah. So you QQ, WER, and then you're gonna notice I have my Q by the time my ult is up again, right? And that's gonna really help with like smooth spell transitions. And we're looking at this in isolation, right? It might look like I'm pretty vulnerable, but during this time, I usually have two other people following me up, right? So even though this might look, oh, let's
We're
go.
good?
We're good. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's a little frustrating that Discord decided to break right before the professor stream, but we're going to try to make do with it. So again, at around 30% CDR is when you can actually rotate your Q from your E, a max out Q, right?
Mhm.
It can go, I think, all the way down to 28 when you have your Q fully maxed, but I would say it's going to be hard to super optimize that threshold, but just consider what items you want to go. Even though I gave you a certain set of transitions, experiment and see if it suits your playstyle. Because if you are more focused, less on like super bursting somebody out, then maybe you value more CDR to maybe look for a second WE throughout a fight, right? And that is incredibly value, right? Because that is a lot of rooting. And in the builds with Dragon's Fury, you didn't notice that I had 30% for that exact reason. So you can keep applying Dragon's Fury and AoE. I want to just check in with chat and see if there's any questions. It is true, actually. QWER is a pretty perfect combo. You can technically, I think, go for skip the Q if you find an angle, right? I don't think the combo is as important as finding the opportunity, right? And I think Lucy will probably tell you the same thing because she's had a little bit of practice on the character. You will get more value out of if instead of wasting your time going for Qs, if you just see an angle to WER on something, just do it. If you can see a threat target that you can isolate and eliminate by doing your WER, even though you're going to lose out on the damages from the Q, you have the Q to follow up, and also you have 2 other players, right? Don't look at these training mode combos in isolation, right? You have to consider that you're playing a team game.
Yeah. A couple other things I wanted to mention if you guys didn't notice. When you E on top of your W and you root someone, you do get a movement speed buff. So you can use that to your advantage as well. It could be used to like get out of situations as well. And also Eing on top of your W, even without hitting someone, adds an extra second to your W picking. So that's really valuable, especially if you want to like maximize the amount of time that your W's put down. If you wait a little bit longer and using your E till later, you know, you have the movement speed buff, you have the Qs also to follow up with it. Someone did have a question. You know, I think they were gone earlier and we've been having issues. They wanted to go over the differences between Totem and Blink again.
So yeah, it's unfortunate with it. But to answer that, I think in general, Blink is just a stronger tactical skill on a character like Henry, right? Because it gives you more option select in terms of what the defensive versus aggressive utility, right? Because sure, you can blink away from potential threats, but also if you find yourself really in the thick of it after you do this combo and you need to like blink out and then reset and let your teammates take some of the aggro because you just went full blinked in on the mage and then like stood still for a little bit. Even if you have the shield, you can still like take a decent amount of damage. So definitely having that. Totem buys you time too, but you're a sitting duck when you're in Totem. The main benefit I think of Totem versus Blink is Totem is also refreshing your cooldowns, so you can get away with greedier builds in terms of more amp, less CDR. But you have to consider that again, you are a sitting duck and you could get CC'd out of that. And especially consider your E is a channel, right? So if you're looking to like E out of a Totem, right? Because that's your only escape option at that point, you can just get CC'd out of the channel. And then you're again a sitting duck, right? That is the counterplay, right? So I think depending Totem can be.
You're good? Yep, you're good. Continue. I was just for a split second.
Yeah, no worries. Depending on the lobby, Totem can be incredibly value, especially if you have a lot of diving threats that will burst you out before you even get the opportunity, right? If Totem lets you do this, then it's good, right? But if Totem is after this, it's often going to be quite bad. I think that's the best way to look at it. If Totem allows you to facilitate plays for your team, then it's really good. But if you're using it after you've already done your playmaking, you're probably going to get more value out of Blink. Again, everything is contextual, right? Team fights will look very different depending on what characters are on your screen, what characters you're playing with. But I think that's really important to consider. And if you value defensive utility, that's where I think you actually could find value in Diamond Shard on Henry, right? Where then you're actually adding defensive while you're going in on this. And then you can also blink out. Because you're getting defenses on top of the shield, right? So it's actually going to be really hard to burst you in your ultimate.
So anything else that you wanted to add?
Not really. I think that's, again, if anybody in chat has any questions, I actually think one of the nice things about Henry is that his game plan is pretty easy to pick up. I think the nuance comes in how you find your angles to make plays, right? I think a lot of Henry is looking for off angles, right? And what I define as an off angle is maybe an unconventional way of using your abilities, right? Because your W is quite telegraphed. But if you're finding a W that cuts off an isolated target and they can't walk out of it, and then you're able to follow up with an E route, you don't even necessarily have to ult there. Maybe you use the movement speed to dash out or run away, and then you have your ultimate to follow up later, and then your teammates are able to follow up. That's a lot of value, right? So it's less about oh, this is a really strict execution combo because I feel like all of you in chat can do WER. I no doubt about that. I think it's gonna be instead focusing on how you find how to land that combo, right? Because this is an advertisement, right? This right here, this is advertising what you're gonna do very often, right? But maybe you don't do it immediately, right? Maybe, like Lucy was mentioning, you give it some time to marinate, right? Maybe they get a little distracted by other abilities, and then this is your timing, right? And then also now I'm refreshing my W, right? There's a lot of ways that skill in Eternal Return or any kind of competitive game nuance outside of the mechanical and instead in your game awareness, right? And I think Henry's a great example of, and also a lot like Hedgen maybe, right? That's why I made that comparison is a lot of your skill as and the difference between a good and bad Henry is not necessarily going to be in how quickly they press their buttons, but when they are pressing their buttons and the efficiency and timing they're finding.
Someone was asking when do you use your shuriken skill in the middle of all of this?
Oh, that's a good question. So I think a good time is actually right here. So right after you WE in, and then you can R. But also, a lot of times, Caltrops gives you a lot of defensive utility, right? Where they can't walk up to you. So if you're against a bunch of melees, that would threaten your ability to E in. Because remember, you're on a channel, right? So if somebody's on top of you, you're not going to get that, right? So if your Caltrops actually gives you the value to make space and look for a different, like walk around and then look for an angle on the back line, that is, I'd say the highest value you can get out of Caltrops. Because again, you're not you are playing with two other players, right? So getting absolute maximum damage isn't as important as being able to facilitate this, right? This is like the real strength of Henry's kit is that AoE CC and buying a lot of time for your team. So whatever gets you to be able to make that play is gonna be the best usage, right? That's why Totem is sometimes better. But then Blink, right? Because whatever can let you facilitate and dictate the fight a little better is gonna be where you're gonna find value. And I see a
Like,
question
yeah.
about force core.
Yeah, like force cores. Also, a shuriken skill, just like a heads up for people. Usually, shuriken skill can be used in like combination with other abilities, like especially with Q, and you can get it up pretty quick. So like me personally, I'm in a habit of like doing QDQ, and if they're stuck in caltrops during that, it makes it easier to hit WE. So if I like any people that are used to playing Shuriken often, you'll notice that stuff with like Emma or Hedgen that they're always constantly throwing it with an ability, and it really helps with like the flow of using it because it's kind of chunky when you throw it raw, you know.
What about
But other than that, you want to talk about first core priorities?
yeah, sure. So I think it really depends on the build you're doing, right? So if you are prioritizing a higher damage build, then just go for your percent amp item. And then if you get luxury, right? At this point, I think it is okay to dip in CDR if you can get a second force core that your teammates can't use, right? Because I think one of the nice things about Henry is he has a decent amount of build flexibility with slamming mithril, meteorite, and tree items. But if you find yourself, you can get a dragon skill. And this is when you actually just start one-shotting people, right? If you get full amp plus that, then don't worry as much about your spell rotations because your first rotation will usually kill if you're accurate with it. I think that is when you can accept to go down cooldown reduction. So your second force core will go to Dragon Skill. Your first force core, if you're doing a build that will do it, will either be Holy Orders or Persona.
So, well, is there anything else you wanted to mention before we head into the games?
I don't think so. I'm pretty excited to play. We have somebody from one of our players joining us is actually going to be an SA player this time. So Starby's going to be joining us in the stream, which is really fun because I don't think we often get to feature SA as much as I think we'd love the opportunity to. So I think it's fun to have somebody from a different region coming to join us for the games today.
Um, Yeah, and yeah, whenever you're ready to invite us both, we can kind of like talk about some other things I had set aside while we're getting in here. We know we don't want to have all the excitement right away. So yeah, we'll get that situated here. You'll probably hear us talk about this a little bit because it's kind of like one of the main topics is people always wonder like what are the team comps that you want to play with Henry. We'll start there.
So luckily, this did not get cut off, so we can immediately look back to something we talked about. Henry's pretty flexible, actually, and one of the things I think we'll probably demonstrate with because we have some mage players here is you can actually play Henry in triple range, and it's not that bad. I think a lot of people are pretty adverse to triple range. They see it in solo queue sometimes, and they're like, "Oh, this is terrible." But I think because Henry has a lot of CC utility, I think it does allow you to play like a triple range comp, right? And that's pretty
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, awesome. We already popped. That's crazy. We're so alive today. Yeah, so
I,
yeah, triple range. What else? What else do we like to see?
I think anybody that lets you follow up instead, right? So a Mai, a Mai, a Nikki, Alonzo, any of these engaged tanks are really nice. And then obviously, I think double backline is always really nice if you have the tank. You can even play Henry with double bruiser though. I think th- again, this character can kind of slot into anything. You just need to identify what your role for the team composition is then, right?
Hmm.
So if you are on a triple range comp like this, right? Maybe my job is to engage for my team sometimes, but I also have a hedge in, right? So that's contextual. It does matter in compositions like this is actually where I might actually play Totem because I think you'll get a lot of value from Totem buying time and like you can pull some aggro for your team, Totem, and then the rest of your team can continue the fight, right?
Yeah, we got the double totem. I kind of feel left out. I'm not the one on totem. Yeah, so we'll try out the triple range first, and then we'll kind of go with something more like I don't want to say generic, but what everyone likes to see. You have your tank, your your mage +1, whatever it may be. We'll try that out next too. Um, what else can we talk about? What are like I'm trying to think of the words because it's like it's squad. So like generally I would ask like what do you think is like a good matchup versus a bad? So I guess like what are team comps that you think you will be able to do more in like against? And like what are ones that you think are gonna be scary?
I think Henry really benefits from clumps. So one composition is like any kind of double bruiser setup where you can just put a W and then have it tick on both of them is really
Mhm.
high value. If there's maybe like a Charlotte or a Johan and they're clumping for heals or a Priya, you can get a lot of value from your W there as well. And then also, because they're clumping, you get a much easier time of looking for like a WER or WE just to set up your team. So
Yeah.
team compositions that like to clump. Team compositions that can be hard for Henry are team compositions that really have hard dive and will you have your R for defensive utility, right? But if they're able to face you out and bait your R, you you're not the best, I'd say, at escaping somebody on top of you because your your mobility spell is a oh sorry, I thought I was taking flowers on this right. Because your ability spell is a channel, you can't get canceled. So that's pretty important to keep in mind because you can't get caught lacking. One thing I'm not actually doing, I didn't mention this in practice tool because there was a lot of going on, but you can actually set up your E, click a box, and loot the box, and then go to like while you're like this. And that's something that if you're a faster clicker than I am, because I just missed the cloth, but you actually can get some benefit on quickly increasing your looting efficiency just a little bit.
Hmm.
But I'm getting old, so
You
well,
can't say that around me, man.
but I definitely think for the more APM intensive Henrys, that is an optimization you can definitely look to do. Is just making sure that I'm always clicking on my E while I'm on a box to go to my next box a lot faster. And that will just lead. Unfortunately, I don't have chickens here, so I'm gonna have to kill these. But you have a decent AOE clear at the beginning of the game with your WE, and then just doing a Q.
Then what objectives do you like to see like first?
Objectives. Ooh, that's a
Yeah, like
good
what would you
question.
rather go for? Like would you rather go for a tree or a meteor first? Like what are your priorities?
I think it depends on the build, right? If you're doing this build, I like trees because I really like Frost Venom Dart. I think it facilitates a lot of playmaking potential. Look at oh my goodness, my co-caster is the absolute goat. Oh, we're in a awkward position here.
Oh, you got that.
Uh, look to follow up here and just get the R off on the ear. Oh, we have follow up from our teammates now. Just gonna WE, kite back a little bit, and just wait. Look for a WE potential. Just gonna dodge out on the Luki there. Look for a CC here. Cut it out. Oh, no. But we do have
Oh.
a pretty hectic forest. I think again, when you do have somebody on top of you, it can be hard to get them off you if you've lost your ultimate already. So if you're against a composition you think
maybe don't look for a WER.
Mhm.
Using your R to protect your backliners if you're playing a double backline comp. It definitely has. I was saying that usually you're going to look for your R as a more aggressive tool, but it's entirely contextual, right? If you think it's going to save you and a teammate, that's a lot of value in itself, right? And it might just win you the fight. So just using your best, I don't know, best intuition, you'll get a better feel for it. I always say this, but the more games you get on the character, the more comfortable you will be with your decision-making process, and you'll be able to decide when it's a good idea to do certain plays versus other plays.
For sure. All right, we had a little bit of
Yeah, I'm seeing
a
that.
mess.
I'm seeing that.
It's okay though. We are all okay. Everything is a-okay.
Oh, whoa. A really aggressive play from the Abigail there. I'm not actually going to look for my... Ooh, I'm getting pretty low. I'm not going to look for my R there because I'm pretty confident that they can die there, but... Oh, and another big engage coming out from the GOAT. But... I'm trying to think if there's anything I'd say about, like, specifically triple range comps that you'd want to look for because we're sampling it on the stream, but really, yeah. Because I have a hedge in, I'm not as forced to look for engages. And I think there are times where maybe you want to go Diamond Shard instead of Amp Drone. But I think but it's not one of the two. I think Ghost Light has its value, though, even in compositions like this, if you feel like you need to do more damage. Unfortunately, we're going to miss... Oh, maybe we can go Forest, though.
Unfortunately, we got a little distracted. It's okay, though.
We're here to sample the
This is where we talk about what you do when... Oh, okay, just kidding. No, we're going for the tree. Our leader has spoken.
Oh, and I got the absolute best possible spawn. I'm sorry. There's a lot of burst damage possible with that combo. You saw that the Rio bent down pretty quickly. Now, this is only because I'm on a PRO-Fessors stream that I would take this item. I actually think probably it's a little better. This tree is a little better on my teammates first, but because I'm trying to sample the character, I think we'll show off the power of Frost Venom Dart. This really helps Henry's neutral. I think sometimes Henry will maybe struggle a little bit in the neutral game if you're against a mage that outranges you, but because you get access to the slow from it, it sets up the rest of your abilities to hit easier, and also, again, facilitates the true damage proc of your Q, which is really helpful.
Are you a force core first believer?
Not actually, this build doesn't have 4 scores. The build... Yeah, so I would definitely just rush the Dragon's Fury or the Blood Cloak. Probably the Dragon's Fury, though. In a composition like this, right? The value of area of effect shredding the entire... Also, I just saw the... there, you can hold spacebar. I've been playing the Eternal Return for too long, so my muscle memory is always clicking on my next zone. I do know about that, but I always forget to actually apply it because I'm just too much of an old head on this game. You know, back in our day, it was like a privilege to see your full purple build by the end of night 1. Like, you know, the game has changed quite a bit.
How do you feel about battle zones on Henry?
Oh, I think they're really strong because it's a very tight area, so you can look for engages really easily. And they're forced to walk into your engaged combo often, so we'll ignore the fact that I just missed my first Q on your target. That's okay. Because the lobby is pretty small, there's a good chance we get this zone for free.
Oh, are we? Oh wait, you're at the other one.
Oh, whoops. I mean, I think we're fine though. Looking at the map, it's looking a-okay for us, I believe.
It's okay. I came to join you because you're our other fearless leader. We can't leave that behind.
Yeah, so
it's okay.
we got it for free. I was assuming we were gonna, because the lobby is already down 2 players, but sometimes
I should have had you. I should have left you alone. It could have been your 1v3 moment.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure I'm doing that on this build. It's definitely you, by the way, because I don't use the Mythril anymore. The last 2 items are meteorite and tree for me. This build is really cheap, which is a nice thing, which is why I'd recommend doing it in a team composition like this, right? Because when you have 3 strikers all playing damage characters, they're all going to want transitions, right? So you want to be able to call your transitions for yourself and maybe facilitate your teammates getting transitions from the neutral objectives you're contesting. Believer, I'm so glad to see this out of him. I think it's kind of cool. I hope.
Hey, that's what the
Nope.
build went. I had to find one that didn't go Blood Cloak, but I didn't want to, I didn't want to overlap.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I do think maybe there are certain teammates that might apply Blood Cloak better than Henry, but oh, that's really unfortunate. They tried to dash out, but I caught them at the very edge of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it appears our SA goat Starbeat is just smurfing on the lobby, but
There's people up here. All right, let's see if we can.
Yeah, we'll look for a like cheesy little engage while they're not looking. That's really unfortunate, but you know that's what happens when you're playing against Hedgen. You can also do that similar things with Hedgen, or not Hedgen, sorry, Henry Bianca, like where you just both slam your ultimates at the same time on one poor target, and then you know you can just force a 2v3, and then you should win the 2v3 from there.
Mm-hmm.
So again, a lot of Henry's looking for surprise factor, right, and just looking for that engage combo while they're not expecting it.
I'll take the pizza. Don't worry, I got it, Starby. It's mine. How would you say his objective take is, like Omega, Alpha, all that stuff?
It's pretty good because your W refreshes, right? So because your W refreshes on boss monster hit, you actually get to throw out a lot of your cooldowns pretty quickly, and your W also does max HP damage. So it's one of the, for a burst mage, I think it's one of the better ones because I think I consider Henry more of a burst mage.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, what else? Thought we were in the mid game. We are killing the bears. We are moving along.
Yeah, this is a good time to ask us questions because the lobby is a little smaller. There's going to be some downtime where people are just going to be farming and we're not going to be running into teams. So if there's any questions in chat, I'm trying to like look at chat whenever I can. I'm like alt tabbing and checking, but
it's okay. I got the second monitor on lockdown.
Yeah, unfortunately, I might be in an apartment, so the second monitor, which is why when we had our production issues, a little bit of a sneak preview behind the scenes. I was yapping for a good 2 minutes before I realized, wait, the stream is not on right now.
Well, no, the funny thing is like we could see everything that was happening, but like we couldn't hear you.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. But I'm glad that sorted out at least.
Mm-hmm.
The Discord is having a little bit of issues today, so it's kind of a miracle that the stream is working at all for us, right? That we're able to get it for you guys, because it would have really stunk if we had to reschedule or something like that.
No, oh wait. Before we ask the question, we got some stuff going on.
I missed my R. That's really unfortunate. Definitely just gonna play. Oh, we can maybe win this. No, it's all good. Oh god, it's a disaster.
I got distracted by the question. And the big question was, do you miss her?
Do you miss? So I think Henry's lore is pretty cool if you haven't gotten the opportunity to read it. He's like, I also just think he's a cool character. I really like steampunk aesthetics. I think NN has been doing a pretty banger job with these character thematics lately. I think a lot of them have been pretty fun. I think Neo was a lot of fun too, where her entire kit is like a rhythm game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's pretty sick. So I do really like Henry a lot. Do we want to do a run back on the triple mage? I don't think we gave it the true justice that it deserves. I think I actually do think it's quite good. I think if you see yourself, if you're like me, not the best tank player, but maybe just if you see double backline lock in the Henry, throw on the diamond shard and just engage your team.
As that was like the one thing that we are weak against is the auto attack character that kind of guns us down from afar, and I'm like, ooh. But that's okay. We got to see a little bit of every side.
Yeah. That was honestly mostly on me. So one of the things I should have been looking. So I think it's really important to be. I think I talk about this on every Professors, but like thinking critically about your own gameplay. If I was more aware of what Lucy was doing, and I should be, right? I should be paying attention to what my teammates are. The unfortunate thing is I'm also talking a lot. Like I'm yapping, so sometimes my attention might be diverted a little bit. Is if I saw that she got that initial fear, I could have true confirmed my WE in that fear duration, and then we guarantee kill the W Marlene, and that fight looks a lot different. I don't even think I would have had to use my R either. I think I could have just WE Caltrops QQ, and I would have been able to kill. But because I missed the chain combo, I then was forced to blow my R. They walked out of my R, and then it cascaded, right? But you you got to take the accountability for where you could have made the improvement to fix a team fight.
Yeah, no, for sure. Doing a little bit of everything. All right, so we talked about we talked about objectives, we talked about we talked about how good he is at taking like uh the bosses in the game, like Wickline and something's pretty easy to do. Um what haven't we talked about yet? If anyone is curious, I don't think we really maybe we can highlight a little bit in this next game, but since his E is kind of like not exactly like a dash, almost like a blink, like you said, there's a
Mhm.
lot of like interesting wall jumps you can do.
Oh, for sure. I'll try to sample it. I should have sampled it in the practice tool, but because of all the technical difficulties, my mind was trying to just recalibrate and trying to remember what I went over, what I didn't. But I do think it's pretty strong, right? It's very similar to Hedgen's Charm of the Nomad.
Mhm.
So you'll be able to make similar wall jumps, and again, if that helps you traverse the map a little faster, a lot of this game is timings, and especially when you're playing a character that really wants to catch people off guard, if you're able to come from an unconventional angle, right? Like I time jump over a wall that and then get into a brush, and then I have a flank angle on the back line where I'm able to then once my time jumps back up, get a chronograph time jump combo into my ultimate, get a big burst, set up my team, win the fight, look like a hero, you know? It's pretty nice.
Well, that was like the entire like lowdown. Wow. What a time to be alive. So is there any characters that like you really think synergize well with him? Like if you could have one character on your team as Henry, like what would you choose?
That's a good question. I've been playing with a lot of different characters. I always think if you're playing a mage that has any kind of CC combo, Nikki is really making your job not a job anymore. The game plays
Mhm.
itself for you, so that's always nice, right? Like you have a Nikki pure rage uppercut on the target you want to burst, boom, WE right on top of it. No worries, you just center it, like guaranteed confirm. You're gonna blow up that target. That's a guarantee. So
Mhm.
Nikki's nice. Mai is really nice because there's the potential for the like AOE CC, right? Any character with AOE CC, and then I think this character actually also benefits from like long range poke mages that can follow up on his engage from a long way away while you're looking for an off angle, right? And they don't have to worry
Mhm.
about overextending. So like we're seeing Star Replay, maybe Eva, maybe a I'm trying to think like Hayes, maybe. Even, but I also think maybe like Adela has a lot of combo potential. And then I think you can always facilitate bruisers with Henry. I'm gonna try D-Shard just to show this off because I've been seeing a decent amount of players play it, so we'll debut it a little bit.
Sounds good to me. All right. Oh, do not want to play that build. You did not see
A-
that.
Alex really, I think Alex is just a fantastic character right now, especially in the current meta. I think
Mhm.
he can. Alex is kind of like a does it all because he can build whatever he wants for his team composition, and then he just he has a lot of good things in his kit, right? He has
Yeah.
CC potential. He has a decent amount of damage if you decide to build him that way. Has one of the best procs of pulverization. This game, I don't think I'm gonna go pulverize, by the way, because I think Ava is a better. Maybe I could go pulverize and let my Ava go higher damaging headpiece. I do think Ava is better at applying pulverizes than Henry, but I could also let my Ava laser harder. So there's always decision making to make. So
Let them laser even harder.
I don't know if I mentioned it when we were going over abilities, what the strength of Diamond Shard, because some of it got cut off. One of the strengths of Diamond Shard is that you're stacking the defense on top of your shield when you go in, right? And that can have a lot of value.
Mhm. Okay. All eyes on you. You got the engages. Actually, I could hit them with a W. I'm playing with that. Awesome.
Okay, sounds great. Sounds
Okay,
great.
you
So
got your
we'll
confirmation.
we'll demonstrate that true Ava laser potential. I think maybe in this game. I think maybe if we have time for one more game, we'll do one game of like the full amp build where I'm going to play like Ghostlight. It depends on the time, but I do think if you want to play full damage, I think it's pretty strong. I think maybe at that point it's a lot more reliant on you playing safer though. I think like you don't want to full send it off your first combo potential. Definitely poke and prod with your Q more neutral. It really depends on what your team requires. Also, I would not play like a super high ampersand low utility build in a triple range comp, because I think you have the best ability to be the team player, I think, in a triple range comp, because your kid is just pretty good at doing it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Still far from enough.
Anything else that's different at this build?
Oh no, I literally just swapped the augments around. I can actually go over real quick. So I did Unwavering Mentality because that stacks the shield. I think Dine and Dash, I'm not sure which would be best. I think very often it's gonna be kind of hard to proc Cavalcade, and I think you should always go Bear Mask on an amp scaling character like Henry, and Contempt for the Weak just felt the best to me, because often you're trying to burst somebody versus maybe do more sustain. And there we just facilitate are able to combo it out. Lend it. But again, if chat has any questions, I'm actually interested for the people who have been playing Henry. What have you been enjoying? Obviously, the character's pretty new, so if you have any ideas that you want to share with the chat, I think it's always super dope. I think the character cord is also a great resource for that. I think there's been a decent amount of activity in the Henry chat. People are pretty excited for this character. He is really cool looking, so I get it. But
For sure. I've had a lot of fun with him. It's been a while.
yeah, it definitely is a character I think. Ooh, voice right, but it definitely is a character that I think you would enjoy quite a bit, because you play a lot of these mage characters, and especially Hedgen has always been one of your favorite picks. So, and you can if you are a Hedgen player, you can definitely feel the similarities in how they approach fights.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I always say that if anyone. Oh. And I'm just talking to myself, just running into people for fun.
Gotta wait for our team. Let's see if I can look for a play now. I don't want to go in without Lucy. We also have our Ava now, so we can maybe look for a play. W does give vision, so if you need to bush check, that's a good way of getting some information. But it looks like they're gonna take the bear, so maybe walk down here. I see a ping here. Oh, we're fighting. Okay, I'm on my way. On my way, coach. Never gonna make a play happen. Poke a little bit. I really want to try to land my WER on Nina and Chloe at the same time if I can, but that looks a little hard to do right now. Look at the kiting genius, Lucy. Oh, we actually have a third party coming in, so maybe we'll be able to reverse that and be the D. Oh, never mind. It looks like. Oh, whoa. I bit off a little more than I could chew. Sorry, buddy. My bad. That looks like Star respawn somewhere to get a free objective, so walk over to them. So again, if you want, I just want to remind people of this interaction. Your Q enhanced damage when you do true damage will apply to slows as well. It says immobilized. It also, I think maybe movement impaired is a better way to look at it. So anything that debilitates movement, including slows. So that's why Frost Venom Dart has some innate synergy. Well, Ironclad help you throw shurikens more.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Now that I had a moment to speak.
That's a cute comment. Maybe. I feel like the Ironclad, again, sometimes I think some people get too adventurous with their builds. You don't always got to reinvent the wheel. That might be one of those times you don't want to reinvent the wheel. You're also seeing I went and blinked this game because it's because I want Diamond Shard. I think there's no reason to stack all that defensive utility. I need to do some damage at least if I'm gonna play a mage.
Yeah, I like reinventing the wheel. That's kind of like my thing.
I mean, I was a big believer in the Ampria. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah, it was a good times. Hey, I mean, you never know. There's some secrets out there. You gotta be the one to find them. All right. We have about a minute left.
I found absolutely zero farm for like the last minute, which is pretty disastrous. But you know, we're
But they have never lifted a hand for me.
What objective would we like to go to when it pops?
let's just do a battle zone. I think it's the most fun for the viewers, maybe.
Okay.
Especially because we didn't really get to show off that Henry's pretty good in battle zones because as the zone closes, your chrono field gets a lot of value, right? And even your just chronograph time jump combo, pretty high value.
That's for you.
Oh my goodness. There's too much responsibility. I hate this role. They always expect me to carry.
Everybody looks
Ah.
fun.
Not without merit.
Yeah, but we're gonna just
Maybe
get
next time it'll be a reversal. You can be
Yeah.
the one chilling.
Yeah, we need to support professors. I need to be funneling my teammates, and then it's out of my hands if we lose the game. Too much responsibility.
Oh, I might be dead. Okay, but the ult value?
Pretty decent ult, actually. Maybe we'll be able to win this fight. Looks like we are winning.
Is
the
it
fight.
is a third party?
Oh, this is solo. Oh, very did not signal. I'm
Wait.
in the battle zone. Master heist. Wait, it didn't. Oh, because you do. I'm the worst. Oh, it's a disaster.
It's the 2v3 battle zone of doom.
Finish this.
Yeah, just I guess we have to spawn somewhere safe. Hopefully we don't get killed for this. Usually, this is actually a good play. Okay, well, we're not punished, so all good. That's actually usually not a bad play to do, though, is sneak in if one of your teammates are down. I just had to, you know, like use my eyes and realize that Lucy had not exploded or used the vision blast yet.
Hard to believe technology has come this far.
That is okay.
It's a disaster. It's a disaster. A
You have to
professor.
showcase everything.
Yeah, including the misplays. That's part of the fun.
All right, it's okay. I mean, we had our chance.
I did want to say, this is just a nuance that just came up because of the characters on screen. If you land the WE on Nina and Chloe, you kind of just win the fight because
Mhm.
the WER will hit both of them, and then even if they proc the Spirit Link or the Soul Link rather, they're gonna take that shared damage.
Oh my
so-
god, there's people behind me. There's people behind me.
Okay, we must save the game. Ouch! Oh, I think I'm dead actually. Oh, I died. Unlucky. That was a good combo from Henry. I should have blinked earlier though. That's my fault. That is so sad.
It's okay.
Oh, I didn't even use my oh god, it's a disaster. I'm just inflating the economy. Listen,
You know, sometimes it happens.
the mental facilities required to educate while also playing the game. That's Can I get the credits off my body? Because I did just res with them. Actually, I don't know that interaction because I have never done that in my life. So I don't know. And I don't think I've ever seen another player do that either.
Here, I will get this to you.
Finish this.
Okay, it's just Nightmare Nails.
At the very least, it brings me shame.
A
All
disaster.
right. Little bit disastrous, but it happens.
Unfortunately, Lucy's down credits. One thing I could have done there, and I should have done, is offered to call for Lucy her 4 score. I assume that she just went down. I don't know what she went
Fine.
down. Because I had the credits too, and it would have been better because I could have just had her call me a tree if I really needed the tree, which I didn't. But
Places
it's okay.
It is
Sometimes these things
A-okay.
happen. Sometimes these things happen. That's the value of vision. I don't know if we had the information, so maybe if we.
When I saw them coming, I mean,
Oh.
once I saw them, I was like, I saw them, but
Yeah, it's
we
unfortunate.
weren't close enough. It's all good though.
One missed
I also got caught
mean-
by the opposing Henry there, which I could have just probably once I saw the W down and I saw that he was channeling his time jump, just blinked out. That's
no righteousness.
honestly like if you want to know the counterplay of this character, that's usually what it is. You just see that if you see this and then you see this, just blink out. Just don't let them confirm the. I need to cook food. It's looking dire. I'm
That's the
devastated.
thing we didn't really talk about is like, what, like, how do you win against Henry? Like, what are his weaknesses? I guess you just like said one.
I mean, if you can space him, his range isn't incredible.
Mhm.
He is a shorter range mage. Even if you're looking at the indicator for his Q, there are a lot of mages that will outrange us, and even some marksman characters can definitely outrange Henry and have the more consistent damage. So if you're not getting hit by his combos, it's like pretty free. So it's definitely just making sure that he's not landing his win condition, right? Which is his WER. What's going on here?
Oh, I'm coming.
Henry has a pretty
Okay,
short.
what the
Oh
heck?
no, my hero! I'm devastated.
No, you're the hero. See, you got me.
Get down, Mr. President, or Miss President, actually. There's a villainous Hyunwoo on you.
No, literally.
4 score for you.
Okay.
Now
Darby's
we're
still
back.
fighting for their life over here, by the way.
Oh my goodness! Wait. Oh. Whoops. My bad. My bad.
Okay.
My fault. We got the map awareness of a of the average solo queue player. All right, I'm full.
All right, where would you like to go next? If you're looking at the
I'm-
map and you're like, man,
I'm just hoping that my beautiful carries get more items, so wherever I can contest the purple belt. At this point, also just fall vision, right? I don't think you really need to blink too. Like it's not. I'd rather have vision. Like it doesn't matter what you're blinking from if you're getting like one shot, right? From vision cheese and things like that. Vision is so highly important. Even the glacial shoes is honestly a pretty luxury upgrade. You really don't need it. The core is these 3 items and then getting the nightmare nails for anti-heal.
No righteousness, no malice, only motion.
Or you can even go Legs of Steel, but I like this variant because it gives you a little more CDR to make plays. But you could go Legs of Steel, Dragon Scale, or something like that. Legs of Steel.
More expensive damaging build.
Maybe you want to be really spicy. Maybe the Emerald Tablet.
hey, I'm spicy.
Yeah, that is spicy.
Just you wait, just wait. You see me on the island tomorrow.
Stay still.
Oh, free RNG. Only when you have 2 threes.
Maybe we can make it into a 4 score or something.
There is no room.
Is okay. So this is just like a general question because like I just thought of this looking at my inventory. Does anyone still just like hoard SP drinks sometimes when you play some characters just out of habit, or is it that just me?
Oh, I have a boiling water in my inventory, so just. I was Camilla main, all right. The streets were unkind to me. those SP costs back in the day were actually demonic. You could not play that character without like a stack of hot honey water.
All right, real. Whiskey, cocktails, flour, liquor. Yeah, see, okay. You know, I'm glad I'm not the only one still like that. That makes me happy. They're the old heads, you know?
Was there hot toddies in this game? Or was that like... Am I misremembering? I feel like there was also hot toddies.
Creatures, are you?
I think so. Or maybe it's something different. It's called something
We had a
different.
lot of drinks back in the day.
Yeah, no, literally. And that used to be one of my questions too. Like, oh, like, how's your SP problems? But like, that's not really a question anymore.
I will say, it was pretty unintuitive for some characters like Emma. Oh my god. She's a goat. I'm just gonna kill my 2 here with the ult. This is one of those like ult values where you can just get from just making sure that you prevent the melee from diving your team. So there,
Yeah, that's kind of swaggy.
there I was just playing to appeal my presidents. In my government, I trust.
Oh.
Oh, wait, they're still here? Okay.
What you doing in there?
Looking for the salty run back a little bit. I'm gonna switch to explosion drone in case I need to secure the quick cure. I have ult whenever. I'm terrible. Unlucky. Did not win the WE combo. Oh my goodness. The Camilla was in there. I can just WE on top of my teammate here again to play peel.
I thought it was red behind us. I don't know why.
But you're starting to see the power of the triple range here, where because if I just play to like facilitate my teammates and make sure they don't get dog, like there's a lot of strength. And yeah, I'm gonna give the BF to my Ava because my role in this comp isn't really to be the main damage dealer. I'm there to set up plays. I'll do a decent amount of damage and burst damage, but the chaser Dawn is on Ava is just one of the biggest spikes for any mages. So it's really important that you hand that over, you know?
Such a humble professor, not taking 5 bloods.
I think it's important to teach our like viewers though that like what are actually good items. That's why I always lecture whenever you're on Charlotte about giving Charlotte elf dress, right? Like, if we're gonna teach you how to play the game right. All right. I'm not spreading propaganda here.
I moved on.
Oh, I'll miss it. Nothing's more fun than playing with the Charlotte. If you're not like if you're the benefiter of it. If you're on the enemy team, maybe it's a little frustrating, but you know that's why we gotta get that strong anti-heal online.
Literally. All right. Oh, someone's at the thing.
Oh, we see somebody caught out. Are they chasing the limit here? I might be able to.
Get a little cheesy action. Oh, boom. Oh.
Oh, I did not R fast enough. Unfortunate. Do they have? They did. Okay, no. Okay, I can actually explain why the R didn't confirm there. So they have steel knee pads, which means the tenacity meant that my root did not confirm into my ultimate.
And here they're showing the chase potential of our Henry. As that guy flies in the sky.
All right, let's just call the attack skill because why not? Having the blink 2 might be beneficial in some situations. So get that luxury purchase. We have a lot of vision already, so we can afford to buy the blink 2. But I think that's a good showcase that like Henry functions pretty well with triple range because you can double as both peel and engage for your team, right? There were fights where I was just sitting on top of my double backliners and just looking to WE on top of them, looking to ult on top of them, right? Get the chrono field, another decent amount of CC.
I have to have my professor have at least 1 blood. I'm calling this.
I still think it's probably better on you, but we can do it for the culture.
Yeah, no.
Oh, we're in a fight though.
Oh my god.
Oh, unlucky.
Oh.
We might need to look for that. We're out.
Yeah, they're in school.
Oh, yeah, we can definitely get this limit rest. So for viewers who might not like play too much, you can always see where Lumi's pathing now by just hitting M and then hitting shift. Oh, yeah, value. It's gonna place a little bit of vision behind me as I walk over to Lumi. We'll probably catch it here.
You want to get it?
Yeah, I got it. Because you can still technically call it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got.
This is for your blood cloak. Or not your blood cloak. You're replacing their blood cloak. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, because we do have kind of double dipping on the debilitation from blood cloak, so I'll go bikini here for the engaged potential. Also, because I'm playing to like set up my team, having that extra shield can actually be pretty nice.
Okay.
Looks like we'll have this zone for free. Oh, I should have sold the blood cloak. I'm trolling.
No. Not my professor.
New professor. Wow. I should have just ran the numbers in my head and knew that Lucy was gonna buy me that BF, and then been like a little bit of extra wards for me, or cameras rather. Yeah.
Okay, so we are triple range versus triple range.
So a lot of the responsibility is going to be on me to find the off angle, or if my Ava's able to just get a lot of burst, right? Those are going to be our win conditions in a fight like this, and just lots of vision, right? You don't want to get vision check in terms of them being able to see you before you see them.
Mhm.
Only the result remains.
A little unfortunate that all our players are good gadget users, so we waste a bit of gadget energy. It's like a, oh my goodness!
Oh, and they put the E on you? Oh. We almost got the value from it, though.
I think we can win the fight afterwards. It looking good for us. We got the shared health. Yeah, nice. GG. With the R, does not matter. My teammate carries. Hold the aggro. Henry, victory screen is very clean.
I love his victory screen. It's so swaggy.
It is so cool. It is
Look
so,
at he's like,
so
oh
cool.
yeah. No, I'm watching my own victory screen. I don't care.
Show us the damage. You don't gotta worry about that. That is information you should not be privy to. That is information that you should not be privy to. That is forbidden information. That question is actually banned. But we'll show it off. We'll show it off. Hey! You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. Don't worry about the performance splitting out from our SA goat, Starpy. Thank you very much for the carry. But I think that was a good game to demonstrate that you can do a bit of real flexibility, right? I was playing more to appeal there than I was to engage. And the times I did engage, I wished anyways.
It's okay.
It
You know,
happens.
it is what
It happens. It happens.
Yeah. Any final questions here before we close it up for the evening? I will I'll do my long drawn out goodbye just in case if any questions come up. As per usual, thank you all for joining us. And thank you, Kaz, for joining us again for another Professors. It's always a lot of fun having you here. Did you have fun?
Yeah, I really do like Henry. Like Henry's really cool.
Yeah.
And I think I really wanted to show you guys what Henry can do when the cards are not in your favor and people want to pick whatever they want to pick and solo queue, and show that you can still actually play this character in that comp.
Mhm.
So just make sure that the only things I want to really take as a takeaway from this Professors is Henry is quite flexible, and I think a lot of your skill as Henry is not going to be in how quickly you press your buttons, but when you're finding your timings, right? I think this character has a pretty straightforward combo and straightforward plan. So your skill as a Henry pilot is going to be in how you execute that and how you make sure that you're finding your windows to make plays.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. And of course, thank you to the production behind us. I like our cute little laptop. If you guys haven't noticed, like a little Easter egg. We got the stickers, and every time a new character is added, one is added. So soon, I don't know, they're gonna start sticking stickers somewhere else. But yeah. So yeah, thank you to them behind the scenes for letting us do this, and thank you all for joining us yet again. And a little reminder, I believe this weekend is SA and EU ERCS, so make sure you guys come back up for that. You can see Starby play. I'm pretty sure they're going to play in SA again on Saturday, so make sure you guys join us back for that. But other than that, I hope you guys all have a nice rest of your night, Q ranked, and we'll see you this weekend.
Keep it up, bye.